It happens out of nowhere. You're in the shower, you're driving, you're almost asleep, and then it hits, a memory, one you haven't thought about in years. Your face goes red, your stomach drops. You might even make a sound, some half-groan, half-whimper that escapes your lips before you can stop it. Nobody is watching. Nothing is happening. But your body responds exactly as if you're living through it again. Why does your brain do this to you? And why does it choose the worst possible moments to do it? The answer has nothing to do with cruelty, and nothing to do with malfunction. It has everything to do with survival. And once you understand the real reason, you'll never look at your most embarrassing memory the same way again. Your brain is not a recording device. It does not store your memories the way a hard drive stores files, neat, labeled, retrievable on demand. Memory is reconstructive. Every time you recall something, your brain is actively rebuilding it from fragments, filling in gaps, reshaping the edges. This is why two people can experience the same event and remember it completely differently. Memory is not playback. It is performance. But not all memories are built the same way. Some experiences get encoded with extraordinary depth and precision, burned into your neural architecture in a way that makes them almost impossible to forget. Embarrassing moments are some of the most powerfully encoded experiences a human being can have, and the reason why will take you back approximately 300,000 years. Think about your ancestors, not your grandparents, not even the earliest farmers. Go back further, way further, to a world where your species survived not as individuals, but as groups. A small band of humans, maybe 30, maybe 150 people, living together, depending on each other completely. If you were cast out of that group, you died. It was not metaphorical. It was literal. Exile meant starvation. Exile meant predators. Exile meant the end of your genetic line. This is the world your brain was built for, and in that world, social standing was not a luxury. It was a survival mechanism as critical as food and water. Your ancestors, who tracked their social position obsessively, who paid close attention to how others perceived them, who noticed every shift in the group's attitude toward them, were the ones who survived long enough to have children. Your ancestors who didn't notice, who didn't care, who never felt the searing heat of public embarrassment. Their line ended. You are the direct descendant of the people who cared most desperately about what others thought of them.
Psychologist Mark Leary at Duke University has spent decades studying what he calls sociometer theory. The basic idea is this: your self-esteem is not actually a measure of how good you are. It is a gauge, a biological instrument that measures how accepted you are by the people around you. It evolved to give you real-time feedback on your social standing. When your sociometer drops, when something happens that signals rejection, ridicule, or loss of status, your brain fires an alarm.
That alarm is embarrassment. Embarrassment is not weakness, it is information. It is your brain telling you something just happened that threatened your position in the group. Pay attention. Remember this. Do not let it happen again. And that is exactly what your brain does. It remembers it. Neuroscientist Joseph LeDoux at New York University has shown that emotionally charged experiences trigger the amygdala, a small, almond-shaped cluster of neurons deep inside your brain that functions like a threat detection system. When the amygdala activates during an experience, it signals the hippocampus to encode that memory with far greater depth and durability than it would a neutral experience. This is why you remember exactly where you were when something shocking happened. This is why childhood humiliations can feel as fresh as yesterday, even after 3 decades. The amygdala essentially stamps certain memories with a priority flag that says, "Never let this fade." Embarrassing moments receive that stamp every single time.
Think about what embarrassment actually involves. It requires self-awareness, the recognition that you exist in the minds of other people. It requires a gap between how you want to be perceived and how you were just perceived. It requires social stakes. Your brain reads all of this in real time and makes a decision. This experience is dangerous. This experience affected your standing.
This experience needs to be stored with maximum fidelity and retrieved at full intensity whenever anything even remotely similar might be about to happen. This is why embarrassing memories are intrusive. This is why they ambush you in the shower, on the drive home, in the quiet moments before sleep. Your brain is not tormenting you for fun. It is running maintenance. It is rehearsing the lesson. It is ensuring that you will not make the same mistake again in a social situation, because in the world your brain still thinks you live in, making that mistake twice could cost you everything. Researcher Roy Baumeister at the University of Queensland has documented what he calls the negativity bias in memory, the consistent finding that negative emotional experiences are encoded more strongly, remembered longer, and retrieved more easily than positive ones. A compliment fades, an insult sticks, an embarrassing moment plays on a loop. This is not because your brain prefers pain. It is because in evolutionary terms, negative experiences carried more information about danger than positive ones. Pleasure told you what to seek. Pain, and social pain in particular, told you what to avoid. And avoiding danger was the more pressing survival priority. Social pain is real pain. This is not a metaphor. Brain imaging studies have shown that the experience of social rejection, the sting of embarrassment, the hot shame of public failure, these activate the same neural regions as physical pain. The anterior cingulate cortex, which processes the distress of a broken bone, also processes the distress of breaking an unspoken social rule. Your brain does not distinguish between the two. Being laughed at and being hurt are, neurologically, the same event, which means that embarrassing moment you relive at 2 a.m. Your brain experienced it as an injury, and it is doing what it does with all injuries, checking on it, returning to it, making sure it healed correctly, making sure you know not to do that again. Here is where it gets stranger. The memory does not have to be yours. Research published in the journal Cognition found that people experience vicarious embarrassment, sometimes called empathic embarrassment. Even while watching strangers make social errors, you cringe at someone else's awkward speech, someone else's public stumble, someone else's accidental insult. Your amygdala fires. Your cheeks flush. Your body responds as if the humiliation were your own. Because for your ancestors, watching a social error was a warning. This is what gets someone rejected here. This is what the group is judging. And your brain treated that warning as seriously as a personal experience. This is also why watching cringe comedy is physically uncomfortable for so many people. The Office. Curb Your Enthusiasm. Your nervous system was never designed to separate observation from participation. You are always inside the social game, even when you're watching it from a couch. Now think about that moment you keep reliving, the one that surfaces every few weeks, sometimes every few days. Maybe it was something you said at the wrong time. Maybe it was a mistake made in front of people who mattered. Maybe it was small by any objective measure, but enormous in how it felt. Your brain has been returning to that moment not to punish you. It has been returning to it because it is trying to protect you. It is trying to extract every lesson that moment contains. It is trying to ensure that you remain accepted, included, safe. The irony, of course, is that the people who witnessed your embarrassing moment almost certainly don't remember it. Studies on what psychologists call the spotlight effect, extensively documented by Thomas Gilovich at Cornell University, show that humans dramatically overestimate how much attention others pay to their mistakes. The audience you're still performing for in your memory, they forgot the show before the curtain came down. They went home and started worrying about their own embarrassing moments. You are rehearsing a catastrophe that, to everyone else, was a footnote. But your brain doesn't know that. Your brain still lives in the tribe. It still believes that the 30 or 150 people around you are watching, judging, remembering. It still believes that your survival depends on what happened in that room, in that conversation, at that moment, and so it keeps the memory alive, keeps it accessible, keeps it sharp and vivid and emotionally raw, because in the ancient world it was built for, forgetting a social failure could cost you everything. The next time that memory ambushes you in the shower, in the car, in the quiet dark before sleep, know what it actually is. It is not evidence that you are broken. It is not proof that you are more awkward than everyone else. It is the oldest, most human signal in your entire nervous system, firing exactly as it was designed to fire. It is your ancestors, speaking through your biology, saying, "You belong. You matter. You are still in the tribe." That is why this still hurts. Tonight, when the memory surfaces, as it will, your brain will do exactly what it has always done. It will return to the moment. It will replay the scene. It will make you feel the heat of it all over again. And now you will know exactly why. Not because something went wrong inside you, but because, 300,000 years ago, something went very, very right.